Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another exciting episode of So Frail Conversaciones. And as you've seen from the title, today we're going to be talking about betrayal, but more specifically, heartbreak. And the reason why I titled this shit Betrayal is because, for one, So Frail Conversation, I know how y'all can get. And then for two, I think I already had a conversation about heartbreak, which was specifically about the heartbreak of a relationship with a significant other with a woman, in the way in which we maneuver, process, and shit, how we try to be in denial. But one heartbreak that we really don't deal with or address much is the heartbreak that we have from men. So, yes, that's why I called it betrayal, because I know how y'all gonna get, ain't no man ever broke my heart. Oh, nigga, he betrayed you. Okay. But it's the heartbreak that we experience from men that we don't heal from. Because it's one of those things you can't heal what you never reveal. You feel me? But when you can't acknowledge something or even address it because you haven't defined it, it's hard to address. Like when we look at the So Frail series as a whole, right? Before I could start off, going down the rabbit hole of what masculinity is, as you see from So Frail 3, So Frail 1, I had to set the tone by saying, here's the definition that I'm going to be using that's going to apply throughout this entire thing. You feel what I'm saying? We don't define heartbreak. We avoid it. It's almost like, what's another thing that people use that they haven't really defined, that they just overly use and shit? And then when you actually tell them, it's like, that's not what that means. Submission and humble, those two words and those two conceptualizations, because if you don't understand the word or the basis of the word, you're not going to understand the conceptualization of how that word is being used to apply to a certain thing, right? So as men, as black men, when it comes to heartbreak, for one, we already don't fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, that bitch ain't play me, man. That motherfucker ain't do this shit. We get such in denial because we won't address it. But the first step to moving beyond something, right, is first to name it. First, you have to put a name to something in order to truly address it. Then you have to define it. You feel me? Then after you define it, you have to, of course, acknowledge it for what it is. And that is how it develops. If you look at even the branding of So Frail series, So Frail 1 is the definition, So Frail 2 is the acknowledgement, So Frail 3 is the resolution, right? And in life, when we experience our heartbreaks, you feel me? A lot of it is betrayal for one, but when we experience our heartbreaks, it hurts and it breaks us to the core, but it's something that we're not willing to define, name, or address. You feel me? By naming it, which is our first step. First way we name it is in I'm good. First way we name it is fuck that. That shit didn't hurt. First thing we name it is I'll be all right. First way in which we name it and address it is all ways that keep us from going to the next step. You feel me? If I'm not mistaken, it's So Frail 3. I might have mentioned it in the conversation here, but like a lot of us will never reach a point of acceptance in life because we can never go through the grieving process. We know, okay, the grieving process, you have denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance, right? Denial is the first part, right? But there's a precursor to denial that we often don't address and don't look at, and that's mourning. Before you can grieve, you have to mourn. You feel me? And mourning is the acceptance of the pain and allowing it to be released. I'm not saying you gotta cry. I'm not saying you gotta weep and do all of this other shit, but you have to mourn the loss that you're about to grieve in order to become accepting of it. Otherwise, you will hold on to that for as long as you hold on to it, fucking up relationship after relationship, experience after experience, solely because you have not grieved for something, because you have not mourned from it, all because you are heartbroken and you want to acknowledge it. But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_seen_. Be sure to hit up my website at iamjustseen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of your podcast. Not this episode, but the podcast itself. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And before I dive into it, I just want to let y'all know that uh, up until April 14th, midnight April 14th, not April 13th. I mean, not April 15th, like the midnight shit, but April 14th, midnight. All of my courses, Master Market, Hitting It Raw, they're all open in enrollment for $32 only and older to my 32 birthday, my 32nd birthday. So there's only 320 seats total for each one, right? So you can enroll into it for $32. Just click the link in my on my website for Master Market or Hitting It Raw to join. Again, once these 320 seats are filled, the prices will go back up to normal. And I don't think I want to drop my prices again. You know, coming into my 32nd birthday, I feel like I gave everybody so much free shit, so much reduced shit, and I owe myself. You feel me? I owe myself a little bit more than I've been uh playing myself for. Not necessarily playing myself for, because it's like, you got to be good to people to get good back. So it's not like it was ever a bad thing or anything like that, but the quality is now starting to change. So this is the last time anybody will be able to get into any of my courses like this. So take advantage of it. If you're new, if you haven't heard of it, whatever, just hit the link in the bio. But again, April 14th, it's done. Or when the seats fill up, it's done. All right. But again, that's that for this and that's this for that. So when we're going to take this quick break, when we come back, we're going to dive into So Frail Conversations, Betrayal. And don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. And without further ado, let's dive straight heavy into it. So, as I was saying, as men, it's hard to reach the point of acceptance because we don't grieve, and we don't grieve because we don't mourn, and we don't mourn because we are defiant to our feelings and our emotions. You feel me? We've always been told we're good. We've always been told uh we got tough skin, we're big boys, we're this, that, and the third. We're never told to actually truly understand and process our feelings and our emotions. So because of that, anything that is emotional driven, we can't address it accordingly. So we can't begin to mourn, which in mourning leaves us in a greater state of denial, because mourning precedes grief. So when you start to mourn, which technically means that mourning allows you to go into your first stage of grief, which is denial. You feel me? How much are you wired in denial when you're actively in a spiritual pain? You're in emotional pain, you're in a full deficit, and you're still telling yourself, I'm good. You feel the pain in your heart. You feel that flutter when when you think about certain shit, your heart sinks. You feel all of these things, and yet you're telling yourself you're good. That's not good. You feel me? And because of that, you can't mourn. But because of that, you remain in denial to the situation. There's nothing wrong with me. And every day you keep reaffirming, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And you're not. You feel me? But how much more does that come at the expense of another man? You feel me? And this is one of the reasons why I call this betrayal, because I know some of y'all ain't where I am. You feel me? As far as where we come. So some of y'all are still saying pause. I get it. I get it. I respect it. So I'm going to meet y'all where you at. But it doesn't deny the fact that we all need to go through this transition. But we all need to be able to address that. Yo, we have been heartbroken by men. You feel me? This society teaches us so much to focus on the opposite shit that we don't focus on the similar shit. Or shit that is the same, and the shit that is really, changing us in a whole different regard. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, they teach us to focus on, the heartbreak and the pain from a woman, or whatever the case may be. When it comes to the pain that we experience from another man, it's like, you know, oh nah, we gotta get past that. We homies. We you my ace or whatever the case may be, or that's still your father, or that's your uncle, or whatever the case may be. And that's foul. That's wrong. You feel me? That's wrong. In some cases, that's still your child. But all of that is a facade that keeps us in this loop where we just become cold. We become jaded. We become monsters. You feel me? And it fucks with our relationships down the long run. You feel me? Because we never really truly heal from it. And never truly healing from it, we can't move past it. And not healing from it is solely tied to the initial fact that we want to address it. We want to address that we've been hurt. And we want to address how hurt we have been. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's like, for whatever reason, motherfuckers think, well, I know for whatever reason, but for whatever reason, motherfuckers think anything tied to emotion, anything tied to feeling is a homosexual act. And it's like, nah, bruh, that's not what makes you homosexual. Like, literally, homosexuality is the action of fucking another dude or fucking somebody of the same sex or whatever the case may be. But I'm not going to get into that part because that's not what this is about, right? When it's time for us to evolve, when it's time for us to develop fully, any human, you're going to face pain. When your relationships need to get strengthened, you need to face pain at some level. When we reach the depths of our soul, the levels that break our hearts, right? Those things are supposed to evolve us and change us in some way, shape, or form. And they do change us. Sometimes not for the better, most times for the worse. You feel me? They make us more emotionally unavailable, to make us more emotionally retarded, they make us, more damaging to ourselves, to those around us. And when I mentioned in Soul Frail too, about how if you tell a child that he's good, a boy that he's good for so long, he becomes good and he starts to analyze the world as being as such. So no matter what I inflict on a motherfucker, they'll be all right. As long as they can bring themselves to say, I'm good too, they'll be all right. Now, if they address it, yo, I'm not good, then it's like, oh, okay, whatever. Now you weak. Now you soft. Now this ain't got shit to do with me. I don't give a fuck that you ain't good because when I was good, ain't nobody. And those conversations come out periodically between men. Well, men as a whole, when they reach quote unquote certain breaking points, they're like, ain't nobody give a fuck about looking out for me, so fuck everybody else. You feel what I'm saying? And nobody ever really addresses the pain. Everybody looks at it from the perspective of, oh, that person just evil, that person just wrong. No, that person is hurt. And that person cannot bring themselves to figure out the pain or to deal with it because everybody's going to look at them crazy because everybody's been looking at them crazy because they've been telling them that they're good. You feel me? If you watch any superhero movie, right, the villain wasn't always bad. You feel me? The villain got bad because of the world, because how the world treated them. You feel me? Society, the world makes us hate the villain without understanding the human pain. That's why titles are important. The moment you name something, it automatically puts you in a space where you address it as such. When we look at a villain, nobody thinks that the villain can have a point. It's not until we're older and we're more mature, we're like, nigga, the motherfucker, the good guy was actually the bad person, right? It's the villain was the good person who happened to go through some shit. But it's all on who decides to tell the story. You feel me? The greatest example that I can use of the shit is fucking Joker. Joker was a villain through and through. We watch cartoons. Joker's the bad guy. Joker's this. You learn Joker's backstory. And he's a traumatized human being. He's a person who could not mourn. He's a person who never released anything and just kept moving through life. That's us as men. We implode, we're volatile. We do a whole bunch of shit where we still move through life because we be heartbroken sometimes. And like I said, it's harder to address the heartbreak when it's a heartbreak from a man. You feel me? First heartbreak, first betrayal we'll ever experience, if we do experience, hands down, is going to be with our fathers. If our fathers break our hearts, right? Next, it'll be a sibling. And then I'm basing it all off of proximity. You feel me? Proximity. If your father's there, chances are he's going to be the first one to break your heart in that regard because it's the first pillar that's right there. Next will be the next closest pillar, your sibling. You feel me? Probably after that, the cousin, then the friend, then it goes out into the world. You feel me? But we never learn how to deal with betrayal because there's levels to the betrayal we feel as kids to the betrayal that we feel as adults. And then it's always in comparison to a motherfucker who was betrayed a lot worse than we were. That's why it's expressed. You'll be good. You'll be all right. Fuck how you feel right now because I've experienced so much worse than you. So what you're experiencing right now, it is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Case in point, I remember when I was young, I was 14. You feel me? Two of my closest homies betrayed me, broke my heart, devastated me on my birthday too. It was on my 14th birthday, right? I ain't know this was the case. I ain't even know we was beefing. When I say I didn't know we was beefing, I really didn't know we was beefing. Literally the night before we played basketball, we kicked it, we chilled, everything like that. They plotted to jump me the day of my birthday. Still never knew why. Still couldn't figure out why and shit, right? And so on the birthday, mind you, all of this bullshit, all of the beef I'm about to explain happened in a span of 15 fucking minutes, yo. So my homies and shit, they called me. They called my house or whatever and was like, yo, tell Ray to come around the corner and bring the game. I had borrowed the game from my homie. He borrowed the game from me. It's what we did. We swapped PlayStation games out. It was, you feel me? You homies, you boys, you do shit like that, right? So apparently, if I would have brought the game around the corner, they were gonna jump me. They were deep. They was deep too. It was well, not deep. It was like five of them. I guess that's still deep. You feel me? It would have been my two closest homies, then some other dude, and then one of my homies' older brothers, um, or whatever, right? So now, mind you, this is my birthday. So before the call, I get into the shower. I'm like, yeah, it's my birthday. I'm about to get out. You feel me? You gotta be lit. I get out the shower. I'm drying off. Like, everybody fussing. Everybody wilding. I come out the shower and I'm like, yo, what's going on? And they told me that my homies, my old homies at the time, like they had jumped my brother. And I was like, he was like, I knew something was up when the way they kept telling you to come around there. He said, so I went around there with the game and you know what I'm saying? He said, that would have been you. And I was like, I'm confused because I'm like, wait, what? They're my niggas, bro. They wouldn't do those shit like that. And they indeed had like the beef had escalated. I didn't even know where it stemmed from. But supposedly, as far as I know, still to this day, I think it's about a game, but I think it's more than that. I really think it's more than that. When you start letting people into your circle, shit changes. You feel me? It was the three compadres. It was us. We was rocking, and then a new dude came to. Not only that, it was a new Caucasian dude that like it was on some. He let shit go to his head because you feel me. Mind you, we was middle schoolers and high schoolers and shit. But you feel me? He hitting the weight room and shit, so he think he the biggest thing walking and shit. And when we first met the motherfucker, right? My homeboy, the homeboy who was most connected to him, he was just like, yo, man, he big as hell and you can't beat him. I was like, why the fuck he always saying that shit? I said, first I'll fuck him up, but I don't give a fuck about his size, but I always wonder why he would say that shit. So this particular time when it popped off, I was like, damn, when I say the beef was bad, the beef was bad, y'all. We lived around the corner from each other, but the beef was so bad that it was literally on site. It just so happened that every time we seen each other, because the neighborhood that knew us as such good friends, nobody wanted to, you know, mingle. Mind you, 14 is when we started beefing. Me and him didn't fight till I was 16. That's how long standing this beef was, but that's how long standing the betrayal was. My heart was broken. Like I jumped my brother over a game. Now, mind you, my brother's a fighter. So it's like he walked over there. They jumped him on a one-on-one. He came back. It was like, y'all, they jumped me. The family, because it was my birthday. The family went around there. He faded everybody. You know what I'm saying? It was like, mind you, all of this is happening in 15 minutes. I'm still in the shower. So I'm get out trying to process it. I'm like, well, let me go talk to him. They're like, no, there's nothing you can talk about. And I'm like, damn, it really ain't nothing I could talk about. Right. And it was all like all the conversations I kept getting were, you know, everybody ain't your friend. Everybody like, y'all don't I let this man in my house. Like, you feel me? I've been to his crib. I know his mama. You know what I'm saying? We look at each other like brothers and shit. Our parents look at each other as like, it's like all that shit was shattered. I didn't know how to face that. You feel me? I had been betrayed and my heart had been broken. Like this was my homie. You feel me? It was like, what did I do to you? I still can't figure it out. You feel me? But in the process of figuring out, everybody was like, yo, fuck it. I've been through worse. You feel me? It's just some homies, man. It's just some little shit. Like, you feel me? Y'all gonna get older, what I'm saying, dead and squashing and shit. What people didn't understand is because, we young, but they didn't understand how I process life. And when my homie, when they kept telling me, oh, y'all kids, man, y'all fight it out and y'all be friends later. When we never became friends again, everybody was like, yo, y'all niggas really don't fuck with each other no more. I said, yeah, I don't fuck with him. I will never fuck with him again. I can't. I can't. There's no, down the line, we'll be friends on social media or some shit. Like, mind you, we 14 years old. Social media wasn't even popping yet. MySpace hadn't even come out yet. I think MySpace would have came out like the following year or some shit. But it was like none of that other shit that, at time passed. Oh, that was kid shit. Nah, it wasn't kid shit. Nigga, you broke my heart. I can't fuck with you for that. But at the time, I couldn't articulate the words, you broke my heart, without feeling some kind of way. Because like those sinking feelings, all of that shit, like, and then it escalated, rolled over to where we got in school. You feel me? The principal school had to get involved. It was like, yo, it was so fucked up because they were like, I had to stay in class. Like after the bell rang, I had to stay in class till the halls were clear. Then I can go to class. I'm like, I'm not the aggressor here, guys. I'm not the aggressor. Him and his homies, they jumped my brother. Him and his homies, they were trying to jump me. I'm one man. I said, what the fuck are you? Why? How do I? Because everybody knew it was gonna happen when the Titans clash. You feel me? He knew I beat him up. You feel me? He knew this shit since we were like we was always about to rumble. And then we eventually squashed it and was like, yo, we always about to fight, man. Let's be friends or whatever. We became friends, became my best friend. Seen him as my brother. Seen him as my motherfucking brother, right? And so everybody knew I was gonna beat him up. Everybody knew that. Even he knew. Like we used to have conversations about who fought the best in the hood. It was like, yo, at first it's you, and then it's me, and then it's the homeboy. It's like, who's two? We already know you number one. Who number two? I said, I don't really know if I'm number. This is what I tell them. I don't know if I'm number one. I ain't never scrapped with either one of y'all. I said, y'all might whoop my ass. I don't know, but if that's how y'all feel, but again, that's how they felt. Jealousy is love and hate at the same time. They felt I was a better fighter for whatever aura I give off. Motherfuckers say I just got this glow or this essence that I'll whoop a motherfucker ass. People don't know what the fuck is on my shoulder at all times. Half the time I'm thinking about good shit, but what's on my face and what's in my demeanor doesn't speak that because of what I'm carrying. You feel me? A lot of us are carrying shit that doesn't resonate properly. You feel me? So we could be feeling good on the inside. It could be a good ass fucking day, but what we're carrying doesn't erase that shit. You feel me? Or it erases that shit. It doesn't, you know what I mean? So, like I said, principles, everybody, they telling me I can't do shit, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it's a point where now it's like, it's no longer just, y'all, this ain't no temporary shit. We beefing, y'all. This is why in my older age, I don't take beef lightly. Even when I went to college, if you uttered the words, yo, we beefing, nigga, be careful with me because I see beef as beef. Like I see it for real. I don't see it as no, oh, we just dislike each other because we say, I'm just going to stay away from him. No, you can't stay away from me. You can't avoid me. It's on sight. That's beef to me. You feel me? What made my mindset was heartbreak. Betrayal. When a nigga is really beefing, that's why I don't fuck with this little social media bullshit where they be like, oh, I don't give a fuck about a social media beef. A motherfucker that's on a fucking keyboard or some shit millions of miles away from me and shit. You just talk. I don't worry about that shit. You could talk all the fuck you want. I know you won't do this shit in my face. I know you won't do it if we cross paths because I know what I would do to you. I don't play about just the, oh, no, you got to be bigger than that. It's just words. I try not to let shit like that get to me. But that's what betrayal led me to. Because I always got to look at the situation of where could our beef get to where you want to jump my brother? And the only reason why you jumped my brother because I wasn't the option. Not like I was running, not like I was ducking, like I was scared. I didn't come outside because I was in the shower. I would have gladly took that fade. Gladly. You feel me? My brother had nothing to do with that shit. My brother had nothing to do with that shit. But inevitably he got jumped and shit. He went back, got his face back and shit. And everybody was like, and my thing was, hood politics and shit, hood shit. After a couple months, couple weeks or some shit, everybody just started fucking with each other again. That's just what happens. You fight in the street, scuffles in the summertime, somehow everybody cool again. So I'm outside one day. My brother's talking to the dudes that jumped him and shit or whatever the case may be. Everybody laughing, kikiing it up. My brother was good because he dusted them off. You feel me? He's like, y'all got me back. The fuck? He said, they ain't gonna fuck with you though. Whatever. He was like, I got my face back, blah, blah, blah. And so I couldn't figure it out. Everybody like, why y'all ain't talking? I said, ain't nothing to talk about. They like, yo, you still holding on to that? You still mad about that shit? You gotta let that shit go. I can't, y'all. I can't. My heart broken, bro. These was my homies. Y'all don't understand that dynamic. These are my best fucking friends. You feel what I'm saying? Now, mind you, like I said, this happened when I was like 14. So now let's go through the timeline. This is where I talk about the proximity of the heartbreaks. First heartbreak was my pops. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I met him. He left at 11. Blah, blah, blah. I met him at 11. He left at 11 and shit. That broke my heart. Broke my fucking heart. It was like, damn. Like, you feel me? In that Will Smith line, that Will Smith scene, he's like, yo, how can he don't want me, man? That shit hits. That shit hits hard and it hits to a core when you've experienced it. Like, some people had that perception. Some people had that perception of, they haven't seen their father in an X amount of years, but they never had that conversation to where it left them like, yo, why am I not wanted by him? You feel what I'm saying? There's a lot of trauma that I faced with my dad that I didn't even know about, that I suppressed for so long that didn't resurface till I talked about it. You feel me? When I was like 4, you know what I'm saying? My mama was like, my dad called and we talked on the phone. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna pull up in a black car. She said for like the whole summer, she was like, every black car I saw, I was like, yo, pull over, that's my dad. Pull over, that's my dad. Pull over, that's my dad. You feel me? I remember vividly walking down the street and seeing the trash man ride past, and he just smiled just because he seen a little kid. You feel me? I said, yo, that was my dad. That's why he smiled at me, but he was at work, so we couldn't stop. All this shit is fucking with a little kid. I'm like 4 or 5 years old. You feel me? This shit is fucking with a little kid. So now when I'm 11, I meet this motherfucker, all that shit hits. All that shit hits. So that why he don't want me, that's a different level of heartbreak. To feel like you ain't wanted by a motherfucker that created you, that's different. So I carried that. You feel me? Next situation, me and my brother. You feel me? He broke my heart too. You feel what I'm saying? I let him know. He know. It's like, yo, bro. You feel me? And me and his reconciliation was how we now have my nephews interact, his sons. And that situation, I was able to move past my brother and we was able to build a relationship because, well, first let me explain his heartbreak. So his heartbreak was the one where he went to jail and everything. And I was like trying to get on the basketball. It wasn't necessarily about trying to get on the basketball team. My brother was the only father figure I had. Although he was still a kid himself, he was the only male role model I had. You feel me? So it's like when I ask you, yo, look out for me, bro. I just, you know what I'm saying? I just want to spend some time with you, to be honest with you. All your time go to the streets and look where it gets you. You feel me? I'm still that little kid. I'm still your kid brother. You feel what I'm saying? But he looked me in my face and was like, yo, you know who got me good at basketball? Myself. I did it. I told me the game. I was like, all right, cool. Broke my heart, but it made me respond a certain way. You feel me? I joke about it now, but it hurt in the moment. But when I come back to tell him, I'm like, yo, you know who got me good at all the shit I do? Myself. And he laughed like, damn, I should never have said that to you. You feel me? But it's awesome. If I wouldn't have said that to you, would you be who you are right now? It's like, nigga, the ends don't justify the means. Shut the fuck up. But it's like that carries into the what's held on the inside. So it's my father, my brother. This goes from 11. My brother was at 12, then to 14. You feel me? These things aren't that far apart. You feel me? So when that betrayal hit, it hit different. Because at this point, it's like I have nobody. I have no male counterparts in my space. Like it's like niggas don't fuck with me. That's how I felt. It was like niggas don't fuck with me. So when it was time to like low key, quote unquote, squash the beef, like I said, hood politics and shit, everybody cool, everybody vibing and shit, wait until next summer, we might beef again, or a different group of people might beef, or whatever the case may be. They're like, yo, Ray, y'all ain't fucking with each other. I'm really not fucking with him. But I could not bring myself to utter the words, yo, that shit broke my heart. That shit hurt me. I couldn't bring myself to utter like these are the things that I couldn't bring myself to utter, which would keep me from acknowledging them. Like I said, years later, when it fast forward with my brother and shit, we was able to reconcile. He never apologized still, but he did his own apology. And I realized that he acknowledged my pain. And I respected him for that, even though he couldn't bring himself to say, yo, I'm sorry, bro. You feel me? I'm sorry for how I treated you. You feel me? But the other reason why, because I knew his pain. I'm like, yo, bro, you were just treating me how you were treated, how you felt. You know what I'm saying? You should have been treated like certain dynamics. It was all you, bro. You out here figuring out life. I at least got you to figure out life with. You don't. Like, I can look up to you as an example. So it was like when talking to to my nephews and his sons, I remember my youngest nephew wanted to play with my older nephew. And he was like, yo, can you come play with me? He said, no, I ain't about to play with you, man. Dad, you see me doing something. Leave me alone. That shit hurt me. It took me, I felt like him in that moment because I heard those same words. Then my nephew came downstairs. He was all sad and shit. I seen that whole face. He sat on the stairs and was like, I was like, what's wrong, bro? He was like, man, Chris won't play with me. I said, damn, I know that feeling. That's heartbreak. Your heart's broken. Your own brother don't want to fuck with you. So you feel, because you never see the backside of it. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my brother getting jumped for me, he went around there to fight for me. There's a lot of shit that I didn't, I had to get older to see. But in the moment, it was heartbreak. So I took my nephew outside. We playing the shit. And then my older nephew, he came outside. I said, nope, go your ass back in the house. He was like, why? I said, because he just asked you to come out here and play. You only want to play because you see me out here. Nope, go back in the house. Y'all are brothers. Y'all shouldn't be doing each other like that. So he went to go tell my brother. He was like, Dad, Uncle Ray he won't let me play. He won't let me play. He sent me back in the house. He was like, why? He said, I don't know, man. He just sent me back in the house. He came outside. I was like, why you sending him back in the house? I said, because his little brother asked him. He said, I was like, Tyler asked him, will you play with me? I heard the whole conversation. And you know what he said to him? He was like, what? He said, no, get out of my face. I don't want to play with you. And I looked my brother dead in the soul when I said it. And my brother looked at me. And this is when I knew that he got it, because he looked at his oldest son and was like, he said, look, next time your brother want to play with you, play with him. He said, y'all are brothers. Y'all are all y'all got. When it's all said and done, it'll be just y'all two there. Nobody else. So all of this stuff that y'all going through as kids, y'all gonna have to put that away, because when y'all become adults, y'all gonna need each other. And it's gonna be y'all two that's gonna have to fend for the rest of your lives by yourselves. Remember that. When he said that shit, I knew he acknowledged my pain, and that helped me heal from that heartbreak with my brother. And our relationship has been good ever since. You feel me? But I was betrayed. I was heartbroken by him. You feel what I'm saying? And it was hard to admit that I was heartbroken by him, because that's a man. Men can't break your heart because you're not supposed to be entwined with a man like that. Nah, bro, your heart can be broken by anything, and you have to be able to address it. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, by the time, so I said that was a quick fast forward, but it showed the impact of where certain shit was. So when I was 14 and my homie, he betrayed me and shit. It was like, when my homies, they betrayed me and shit. It was, y'all, this ain't, I can't fuck with y'all like that. So by so now this is eighth grade, teachers and everything keeping me where they're keeping me. So this really fucked up my relationships with men. I stopped becoming, like, I would become an associate with a homie. With my homie, I can never get close to him. I can never be a motherfucker who's like, yo, I fuck with you. I could fuck with you heavy and still always keep in the back of my mind that you got something under you, because I never addressed it. And it's not because I was just a, bitter person. Sometimes, let me say this, sometimes motherfuckers are bitter because they have not addressed the pain. And I don't mean address the problem, address the pain. You be looking at, for example, I'm using this because it's dramatic. Oh, you got the bitter baby mama. The bitter baby mama has not addressed the betrayal. She has not addressed the pain. She has not addressed the hurt. Her thing is, oh, he a sorry baby daddy. Like, that's the thing. Like, people miss that part. They be like, yo, he a sorry baby daddy. So the thing is, she's a bitter baby mama, not a broken human being. Forget about all the girls that he been sleeping around with and fucking off on and doing all this other crazy shit. You feel me? And I had to use that extreme. I know this is so for a conversation, but I had to use that extreme to show how bitter really sits. People be looking at bitter as, nah, bitter is when you have not acknowledged that pain. You acknowledge your problems, but you have not acknowledged your pain. What is really hurting you? That's the only way you can get that shit out. You feel what I'm saying? So I was bitter. I was bitter. So it's like I always waited for the shoe to drop with my homies. I always made, like, when I made new friends, I kept you at arm's length. I was like, I'm not getting that. I'm not crossing that. I'm not crossing that because I feel like at some point you're gonna betray me again. And rather than like, and I beat motherfuckers up, bro. Like I really fight motherfuckers for shit like this. Like, and it's because it's like, yo, this like I never knew how to process the shit. So mind you, these homies, they betrayed me. You feel me? So by ninth grade, when I say it had got, and this is when it got worse because it started pulling niggas in. I'm like, bro, this beef is between me and you. Stop adding niggas to the party because it gets worse for them, not me. It gets worse for them. And I be telling motherfuckers like, yo, don't, if we got a problem, we got a problem. Don't bring your homies into the shit talking about, yo, this what is this. Because now we got to bring other shit into it. And the homies that I got to bring into it, your homies ain't where my homies at. You feel me? I always let that be known. So I kept shit under wraps. So eighth grade year, like I said, we teachers trying to keep us apart or whatever. We almost clashed and shit. We almost clashed in school when we live around the corner from each other. And this is when it was a problem for me because it's like, yo, you only want to fuck with me when you protected. You feel me? We on the same hallway, you know, because we both eighth graders and shit. We on the same hallway. We walking by each other side by side. And I'm like walking down the hall waiting on them to do something, whatever. I had a one strap book bag and I'm like clicking the little strap thing so we can, like, if it had to come on, boom, click, ping, 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 we fighting. It ain't no, let me take my book bag off of my shirt. Belt was already tight. You feel me? I'm just like, yo, nigga, shoes already tied up. They not coming off. I'm like, all right, it is what it is. Mind you, I'm walking side by side with this dude. So I get on the bus first, sit down. I was bad, so I had to sit in the front seat. You feel me? The bus driver, I used to get rolled up all the time and shit. It was so bad that the motherfucker, my mama I had to write a 30-day, I had to get a 30-day sign off from my bus driver that I was good. That's how fucking, I guess, disruptive I was or whatever. I was a kid though. I didn't give a fuck. So I had to sit in this particular seat. So when he walked past, like the seat was right behind the bus driver, and I sat on the inside so I could see out of the little window. So right as he's walking by, he raised his hands up like, "Yo, what's up?" I'm like, "Nigga, we was just side by side in the hallway where there was nothing but rooms." I said, "All right," because what he wanted to do was, I know him. You was my homie. That shit don't go away because we, you know what I'm saying, we don't fuck with each other. I know your tendencies. So I know what kind of dude you are. So I said he wanted to provoke it so it could look like I called him out, but he ain't do shit. So now everybody's looking like, yeah, I bitched him, man. He stayed on that bus and shit. I hopped off the motherfucking bus. I was like, nigga, what it is? You want to see me, nigga? Let's go right motherfucking now. Everybody's like, no, no, no. Stop. Don't fight us. I said, nah, fuck that. You want to scrap, nigga? Let's scrap. So the bus driver, she got off and she grabbed me and shit. I was like, nah, Miss Suggs. I knew her name. She was a good soul. She used to write me up all the time. She was a good soul. She was like, because at the time they called me Curtis by my middle name. She's like, Curtis, calm down. I said, nah, Miss Suggs. He want to fight. He want to fight. Let's fight. So he get on the bus. They kicked me off the bus that day. I was not the, and that's when I started to realize he was a very good manipulator. He can stir your emotions up and hide his hand. You feel what I'm saying? So he made it look like I was the aggressor. Everybody was like, and so when they give in the statements, they're like, yeah, all I know is he just hopped off the bus. They don't know what triggered me. I was like, yo, he put his hands up. I didn't really see him put his hands up. No, because I was like, y'all wasn't paying attention to him. I was, you feel me? So it's like when he threw his hands up, they was like, yo, you just hopped off the bus. I'm like, what it is? And I was like, damn, it do look like that. So they kicked me off the bus and shit. And so when they kicked me off the bus is riding by and he's, talking shit. And the bus driver's like, well, there he go right there. I can stop the bus. She said, I didn't have to separate you two. If you going to do all of this, she was like, you want to go? Open the door. I stood up. I was like, what's up? He ain't never get off the bus. You feel me? I said, yo, you just show everybody you pussy. You just got me kicked off the bus. I was like, I'm going to see you when I get home. You feel me? So I get home. You feel me? And I started to realize it's worse than I thought. Because as I'm driving, like they sitting outside, like waiting for it, because they know I'm gonna come back around there. But he's not by himself. He's never by himself. So I'm like, all right, this is what it is. So this transpired and went on till we get to motherfucking high school. High school, I'm by myself because these was my homies. Literally, these was my homies. So it's like we were supposed to go to high school together and run the yard and shit and be like that. But it's like he had his own little I was by myself, dolo. You feel me? I stayed dolo. I didn't give a fuck though. So this is what I was talking about. You start pulling motherfuckers in, and you never know who you fucking with. Never know who you fucking with. So I always tell the story. I'm Crip affiliated. I'm not a Crip. I never crossed. I never banged Crip or whatever the case may be. But in the circle, the homies that I grew up around, it was all Crips. So the Crips at the high school were protecting me. My brother had put the word in. He said, yo, y'all little niggas don't let nothing happen to my little brother. He said, if something happened to my little brother, something gonna happen to y'all. They're like, nah, man, we got you, big homie, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't know that he had already put the word out because he had already, you know what I'm saying? So it's like one day I was walking down the hallway by myself, and the homeboy that I was beefing with, another nigga that he brought in that ain't had shit to do with it. I'm like, bro, you don't know who you fucking with. Leave the situation alone. So a little scrappy, no problems had just come out. So as we walking, you can't play with me because I'm like, you're either gonna do some shit or you're not. Like fear has never been. I think fear has never been a part of me because I've been betrayed so much on so many different levels that I have nothing to lose. Emotionally, I have nothing to lose. Like I've experienced the worst kind of emotional pain ever, so no pain can hurt me anymore. You feel me? I know that sounds crazy and it might sound heartless and shit like that, but it's really the complete opposite. I still feel, I'm still willing to feel because nothing could hurt me that bad anymore. Like motherfucker be like, yo, how can you get into another relationship? How can you do this? Because I've healed and nothing could hurt me that bad anymore. That's the worst, that's the absolute worst pain that I've ever felt. You feel me? Heartbreak on both sides. And healing from it was like, I don't think I can. It's like when you learn how to ride a bike, you feel me? When you first fall off a bike, that shit hurts bad. Like you scraping, you bleeding, it hurts. The pain of falling off a bike never changes. It just doesn't hurt you as much. The more you fall off a bike, the more you just, damn it, I fell again. Then it starts to get funny. Falling off a bike gets funny. The hurt that you had starts to get funny. It's no longer, it's like, damn, yo, you good, bro? Yeah, man, I'm good. You're able to laugh at it because the pain cannot hurt you the same way, the depths of it. So it's like, for me, I can't experience any pain worse than that again because that's the worst pain I've ever felt. You feel me? And I've healed from it. So we walking down the hall and they scream, they singing Little Scrappy, you don't want no problems, problems. And so I know it's directed towards me. But he only talking this shit because he's with his homie. It's the same situation when I was sitting on the bus. He's like, if I say it and he don't do shit, and I know this the type of motherfucker he is. So I can't let him say it and me not do shit because of what happens. So we walking down, I'm walking down again, same one strap book bag. Cause you know, I recycle my book bag from 8th grade to 9th grade. I ain't give a fuck. Same one strap book bag. So as I'm walking, I hear, you don't want no problems, problems, who? And then his homeboy said, yeah, you don't want no problems, problems, who? And then they stopped singing. So I said, yeah, you don't want no problems with me. Could be in me. We be 50 deep. Yeah, hold them back, hold them back. And at this point, I turned around and said, man, fuck that nigga. Fuck that. Hold them back. And then I turned around and I kept walking. Nothing popped off. But I had to let niggas know, yo, let sleeping dogs lie. Because niggas can get with the shits. I don't give a fuck how many of y'all it is. You feel me? So beef escalated. Like I said, motherfuckers is getting pulled in. So some random nigga, he was in the slow class. I don't even know how the nigga from the slow class got into the beef. I'm like, y'all niggas bringing slow niggas in this motherfucker. Now if I beat up a slow nigga, I'm wrong. You feel what I'm saying? So slow nigga, he would always just stare at me. And at first I was like, yo, he's slow. Give him a pass, right? He's slow. You feel me? But then one day he just kept staring. I said, nigga, what the fuck is you looking at? He like, who you talking to? Bitch, I'm talking to your lopsided head ass, man. What the fuck is you looking at? Because his head was shaped funny. I shouldn't have added that part to the podcast. And I ain't edited it out. Fuck it. So I was like, I said, I'm talking to your motherfucking ass. You feel me? And he like, all right, stay right there. I said, okay, okay. So one of my homies, one of my brother's little homies, he was like, yo, Ray, chill. I said, nope. Nope. I said, I've been chilling this whole motherfucking time. They keep pressing me, yo. They keep fucking with me. It is what it is. Wait till he come back. He ain't never come back. So what he did was he went to go tell his cousin or whatever. His cousin was one of the people that was like one of the popular people that was known for fighting and shit. Me and his cousin go back to the 5th grade. His cousin know how I get down. His cousin know what I do. His cousin know who the fuck I am. So, but he didn't know that me and his cousin was cool. So mind you, bringing people in the beef and you don't know how the history go. So the cousin see me outside the club like, yo, what's I don't know what's going on. I said, yo, it's pussy niggas running their mouth about shit they have no idea about. And I was talking about, looking dead at his cousin's face, and he was like, oh well, was or we heard. I said y'all heard one thing, but what'd you see? Cause this was when me and my homie fought. Like not the main one that I'm talking about, but the side one. Me and him squash beef, and I'm gonna tell you about how he kept betraying me too. But me and him squash beef, we became friends, but we actually fought. You feel me? We fought when I was 15. And so he goes to the skating ring or whatever. He tells, yeah, man, I knocked that nigga out, man. I whooped his ass. I knocked him out. Me personally, I ain't even gonna hold you. I feel like he won. I feel like he won solely because my lip busted. I was bleeding. Everybody else that was there, they were like, yo, I won that fight or whatever. But I said, nah, he made me bleed, yo. I didn't leak him, so he won. You feel me? That was my thing. I didn't care. I held on to that. But when you tell the story, yo, I knocked him out, nigga, I never fell off my feet. Like I never fell. Like we standing up, squared up, banging each other. Like, what the fuck you mean you knocked me out? So I'm like, y'all niggas wasn't even at the fight. So he never knocked me out. You feel what I'm saying? So again, when I say it's escalating to the point where sisters want to scrap each other down over the shit. Like we are really fucking beefing. But it's all rooted from a heartbreak. You feel me? I don't want to detract from the conversation that this is about betrayals and heartbreaks because we all feel them that come from our homies that are boys, that are men. You feel me? So that situation was what it was. Nothing popped off because when they knew who the fuck my brother had put in place as sentinels for me, niggas ain't want to fuck with me no more. And it made sense to me as I started to look at it. I was like, why the fuck is niggas starting to switch sets and shit? Because the same homies and shit, they ended up banging blood. They ended up started blood. And I was like, oh shit, we was Crip affiliated. The disdain y'all got for me made y'all do that shit. Y'all ain't even bloods for real, nigga. What? Like, you feel me? I remember y'all used to throw up. Remember, hold up, wait, whoa. I was all right, whatever. I remained affiliated to what I was affiliated to. You feel me? So that, transpired. Nothing happened. We eventually fought. Me and him finally fought when I was 16 years old. And it was a breaking point. I waited for that fight for so long that I tasted it. Like it was like I was walking. It was me, my homeboy Jonathan, uh, my homegirl, my homegirl Shakira, and my homegirl Amanda. Amanda was pregnant. No, Amanda wasn't pregnant. Amanda had her baby, and she was pushing the baby in the stroller. So dude come with his cousin, with two of his cousins and his sister and shit, and they walking down the street. I'm not about to put Amanda in harm's way. She got a baby. Shakira ain't got shit to do with it. My homie Jonathan like, yo, bro, I'm right. I said, this ain't your beef. It's gonna be a one-on-one scrap out. Ain't nobody gonna jump in. These niggas ain't stupid. So we walking. So I'm walking and I was smoking a cigarette at the time. And as I'm smoking the cigarette, it's like he walked by, he be like, yeah, see, nothing said. And I look at my homeboy John down like this nigga. And you feel me? He talking about, yeah, whenever I'm by myself, y'all always walking and calling me pussy or whatever the case may be. Now with my cousin and my people don't know. And he said, you ain't want to say shit. I said, first of all, man, that be P, that be talking shit. I said, I say shit to your motherfucking face. I said, I leave you alone because you and I both know that I dust you the fuck off out here. He was like, yeah, you always calling me pussy when I'm by myself. Call me a pussy now. I said, you a pussy. Now what? And so, he couldn't, you can't tell a motherfucker to call you pussy. And then when they call you pussy, you just stand there. You got to do something now. So now you put yourself in a fucked up position. If you wouldn't have told me to call you pussy, I wouldn't have said nothing to you. Then you wouldn't have felt the need to run up on me and get beat the fuck up. But alas, that's where we were. So I flicked my cigarette. I said, you a pussy. Now what you going to do, pussy? And he was like, that's all I needed. So we squared up and shit. This is like, I waited for this fight so long that my body had went into such a state that every hit I landed, I didn't feel. I didn't even feel like I was hitting this man. And the fight stopped because he hit me. He finally landed a punch on me. And when he landed a punch, he was like, yo, I'm good. Yo, I got my rock off. Like, nigga, you just wanted to hit me once. That was it. So at this point, I'm in more of a rage because I'm like, I didn't finish fighting. I didn't finish fighting. I was like, I never wanted this smoke. I was like, you was my homie. And I didn't want to do this to you. But now you got to get it. So I'm looking at my hands and shit. Nothing's hurting. I didn't start feeling it until after the fight. But my homie was like, Ray, my homeboy Johnny's like, I ain't never seen you fight like that before. I said, man, I ain't hit that nigga. He said, bro, you hit him so many fucking times. He's like, you didn't feel that shit? I was like, nah. He said, yo, you kept knocking his fucking head back. He was like, until when he finally landed that punch, he said, did it hurt? I was like, nah, I didn't feel the punch. He said, it don't even look like he hit you that hard. It was like he hit you on accident on a point where you caught him and he happened to swing at the right time. And he was like, you didn't feel that shit? I was like, nah, but I know I got hit. And he was like, yo, I got my rock off. He said, yo, bro, honestly, that's all he would have got.
Hey, bro, for real though, at some point we gotta stop talking to women about masculinity and start talking to each other about it. And I mean really talk to each other. Not as enablers and co-signers, but as men trying to reach the pinnacle of our essence. And that's what the So Frail series does. So Frail 1 is the definition. So Frail 2 is the acknowledgement. And So Frail 3 is the resolution. If you rock with the So Frail conversations, I can guarantee you will rock with the So Frail series of books. So visit IamJustSaying.com right now so you can add the series to your library. I promise you will never look at masculinity the same again, and you're going to stop wasting your time arguing with women about it. This is a conversation that men need to have between men, and it's time we start having this conversation now.
I was like, damn. But that's where that beef had escalated to. You feel me? That's where that betrayal had escalated to, and I had to do something to him. And even after that, we couldn't reconcile and be friends. But the other homie that was involved in that, and that's why I got to tell the story for him. The other homie that was involved in that, we actually reconciled. This was the homie, like, you feel me? We fought first, but I think we reconciled because we fought. But me and him, I think we let it fester too long before we fought that we couldn't squash it. So we actually fought, got it out of the way. You know, I said he busted my lip and shit. So I felt like I lost the fight. My shit was bleeding. You know what I'm saying? But as time went on, we actually started, like, I remember we squashed the beef at the fair because I seen him and shit. And it was like, you know, it's kind of we don't really apologize. We just kind of squash shit and just move on. But I still kept my shit in reserve. I was like, nah, bro, I gotta watch you. From there, from that moment forward, I've never trusted the homies I was around. I've always watched them with a side eye, like, yo, when you gonna try to play me so I can fuck you up? You feel me? But from there, it's like I would notice that we would start talking one day. And I remember one of the big homies trying to get us to scrap again because he was like, so he was talking shit to one of the big homies. The big homies like, man, I get Ray on you. And I was like, he said, nah, that wouldn't happen because me and Ray would jump you. And I guess that was his mode of like offering an olive branch, like we squashing the beef and shit. But the big homie was like, yo, I'll put Ray on you. And his acknowledgement, like, we wouldn't fight because we'd jump you. And it was like, nigga, you know, I know too. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. So me and him, we eventually became amicable and shit. But this is the same homie that ended up fucking one of the girls that I was talking to. Now, granted, everybody like, yo, you gotta be mad. At the time, like, fuck these bitches, man. Y'all got it. Like, nah, that's betrayal still, bro. That's one of our biggest problems. We let our homies violate our women. We let people violate our women, and we don't look at it as like, yo, nigga, you broke my heart for that shit. I was really fucking with this girl, and I was really trying to get with her. I was in the 9th grade. They were in the 8th grade or some shit like that. And he fucked her before I did. Like, not even that. The before I did part really don't count, but he fucked her. No, and it's like I tried to put him on to her sister. You feel me? So it's like after that, all bets are off. And then he played like they was talking on the phone on a regular basis. I went over there one day. He was on the phone with. He like, shh, don't say nothing. And his thing, I was trying to show you that she was a hoe. Nah, nigga, bro. Like, there should have been another way that you did that. You feel me? But now that you did that, all bets are off. This is when we walked into that space of we share girls. This is how it ended up with that woman who was saying, well, y'all share girls anyway. And I talked to my sister, it was cool. That's the homie that she was involved with. You dig what I'm saying? And he was like, when he found out about us, he was like, I ain't mad at him. He said, I'm mad at you because you should have done. He felt what I felt. Because it was all fun and games. He was like, yo, man, her pussy was so good, bro. He was like, yo, he's bragging about the shit. And I'm hurt, but I can't be mad as, you know, because it's like, yo, that's a bitch, man. Fuck these bitches, man. Don't be crying over no hoes. Don't be getting mad over these bitches and shit. You feel me? And she laughed too. Her thing was funny. She was like, oh, I can't believe you found out. Everything was a joke until I, you know, don't play with scene, bro. Like I'm that level when I got to get you back. You feel what I'm saying? So I fucked his girl. The girl that I ended up fucking that was his. It was, you know, he said, yeah, that was my first love, man. I actually love her, man. And so when I told her I fucked her, I was like, yo, I was like, man, don't let these bitches come between us, man. The fuck? He was like, you right, bro. I can feel it in it. I can feel that he felt what I felt. But at the time, I didn't give a fuck because I was like, nigga, this is what we do, right? Even though what we do is wrong, you feel me? But this is what we do, right? Now you got to sit with it. Her sister, I got her. Like, I was like, yo, bro, I tried to put you onto her sister. I ended up, you know, fucking with her sister, getting some hair from her sister and shit. And then, you know, telling her, you feel me? Like, that's so wrong. You were supposed to do what you fucked my best friend. You feel me? all that shit is out the window. Like, that's why I was on some shit. Like, I was so the pain that I felt at such a young age and shit, I always went above and beyond. You feel me? To make a motherfucker feel the pain that I felt and some and leave me the fuck alone. So it's like, I used to be on some shit like that. If you play me, I'll fuck your sisters. I will fuck your cousins. I would do something. I will make you feel the pain and remember me forever. You feel me? Because I had not healed. I had been a heartbroken motherfucker, traumatized and shit. Blah, blah, blah. You feel me? But that was the homie. You feel me? We were friends for a decent amount of time after that, but I never trusted him again. But I trusted him for that to be the type of relationship. When it was time to get girls, when it was time to fight, that was my nigga, yo. When I say me and him, like, even though we did fight each other, even though we did beef, that's when I realized that the beef that I had wasn't necessarily with him. It was really with the main homie. The main homie like, he just happened to bring everybody else in because everybody else squashed it. It was like, yo, we good. It was some Clash of the Titans type shit. It was like two alphas, supposedly. I was the motherfucker. I was the natural alpha. They were the alpha fighting for the position. Like, y'all, we kids. Like, I didn't really realize how that mentality ties into, the masculine essence and shit like that. See, this all comes back full circle. You feel me? That alpha energy is like I've always exhibited. You feel me? Subtly. I never had to express it. To the point where, like I said, tying it back, they knew I was the best fighter out of the three of us, but we never fought. It's like, yo, I've never fought y'all before. But that sole point made them want to fight me. There's a lot of niggas that did that shit. You feel me? I'm like, what the fuck niggas want to fight me for? Because when you got a certain energy that people can't conquer, they feel like they got to try to conquer it the only way they can. You dig what I'm saying? So when you blow up into situations, now you're the bad guy. You feel me? Now you're whatever you are. But you had to realize where it stemmed from. You feel me? It stems from that heartbreak. It stems from that broken heart. It still stems from that betrayal that you faced. You feel me? Because now, as time went on, by the time I got to college and shit, friendships, nigga, what? Nigga, what? I couldn't trust nobody because now the same homie, I still have not confirmed that it was him. I still have not confirmed that it was him. But I have confirmed that it was somebody he used to fuck with. They tried to break into my mama's house. And my mama said, don't address it. Because I was putting niggas down. I was gonna put niggas down. At that time, the 200th episode of this podcast will reveal why that time was such a volatile moment for me. I'm saving it for 200 for a reason. But in that time, a lot was going on. You feel me? A lot was going on for me. And you supposed to be my homie. You supposed to be my man. I can't get in no trouble whatsoever. And y'all try to break into my mama's house. Break into my mama. Like, that's a problem. That's a problem. Motherfuckers thought, you feel me, my mama's was rich or some shit. I'm like, nigga, I live around the corner from y'all. We live in the same hood, bro. Like, what the fuck? You feel me? My mama just had a different level of financial literacy. That's all. But we still here, nigga. The fuck? So they, motherfuckers was trying to break it to my crib. It just so happened that the neighbor seen it. And because of, who I am as a natural person, I try to extend good faith to everybody. So the neighbors, I would speak to them on a regular basis. That made them look out for the house. Now, granted, they never told when I skipped school. I appreciate that. Because I would come back. They was like, ain't you supposed to be in school? Ain't you supposed to be at work? Nigga, the fuck? But they never told on me. But because of that decorum that I maintained when they tried to break into my mama's house and shit, they couldn't get in, but they seen them and they called the police for us and shit. And I was like, okay. When they described what the motherfucker was, I said, those are niggas you be hanging with, bro. Was you with them? That's my only question. Nobody would tell me like, was he with him or not? But my mom was like, don't do it. Leave it alone. They couldn't get in the house. They didn't take anything. Leave it alone. Act like you don't even know. I'm like, how am I gonna act like I don't know? You feel me? Whether he was involved with it or not, you feel me? They was your homies. Those are the niggas you fuck with the most. Those are the niggas that you started switching up on me for. You feel me I'm saying? So I was like, all right. And again, more betrayal that I couldn't address. It's not that serious, right? It is that serious, bro. What if my mama was there when you try to break into the house? What if she tried to fight y'all off when you hurt her, you did something to her? Now all of y'all gotta die. There's no questions about that shit. All of y'all gotta die. And at the time, like I said, the 200th episode of this season of this podcast, and I think it might work out to be the final episode of the season, is gonna reveal why I was so on edge at that time. Nothing mattered to me. I had nothing to lose, literally. So I was ready to, smoke some shit. But, they told me not to smoke some shit. Say, yo, you about to go to college. You're going to finish. Go do your thing. You feel me? I get to college, and that's when I started to realize how much I had been betrayed by men in my life. How heartbroken men had made me to where I stayed away from them. We talk about how, we get heartbroken, we damage women, and we don't get close to women, whatever the case may be, but we do the exact same shit with men. The problem is, with men, it's different simply because we're not taught to channel into the emotional side of it. We're like, yo, fuck that, man. He was a bitch ass nigga. He this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a long time to get close to a motherfucker, right? Because I felt like all my homies had betrayed me. All my homies had betrayed me. All but one. All but one. And that was my right hand, my homeboy Jonathan. Like I felt like Jonathan's the only nigga that never betrayed me, but I betrayed him. You feel me? Not in a way like I did some very, very deceitful shit. I remember one time I used to bully Jonathan. I used to bully him. In my mind, it was I'm making them tough or whatever. I don't want you to be no bitch out here in these streets. You feel me? You roll with us, nigga. You got to be hard. You feel me? Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I used to bully him and dare him to do something. That was a level of emasculation I should not have put on my best friend. I fucked up for that. I was fucked up for that. But he stayed my friend. He stayed my friend when he shouldn't have. You feel me? He shouldn't have. And when it all came out, like I remember he thought he had a girl that I used to talk to in high school pregnant. And motherfuckers like, yo, you ain't gonna be mad. You used to fuck with Shorty. I'm like, nah, that's my karma. I used to do him dirty, bro. I'm not mad at that shit. For one, I don't give a fuck about the Shorty that he was, you know what I'm saying? But it's like still, I can't be mad at the shit that I can't be mad at your betrayal if I've inflicted betrayal on you. That same homie that I was talking about, fuck the girls that I was with, and you know what I'm saying? We used to share girls and shit. I ended up fucking with both of his sisters. You feel me? I did my set of betrayal too. I don't want it to come off as I'm a whole victim out this motherfucker. You feel me? I've had my levels of betrayal myself. You feel me? I betrayed my brother's trust one time when I was a kid because we wasn't supposed to have a video game system, but my brother had got a Sega. So my mama would always ask who hooked the Sega up. I thought she already knew, so I just pointed at my brother. She didn't know. I snitched. You feel me? Betrayal. Because he ended up having to get rid of the system, and that was the only form of entertainment we had at the time. Because we couldn't really go outside because she was working and everything. So I've had my moments of betrayal too. And I get it. Oh, that doesn't necessarily compare. You don't know how another motherfucker feels off of what you did. You never know what the straw is that breaks the camel's back. You dig what I'm saying? So I've had my moments of betrayal. That friend that betrayed me when they, you know what I'm saying, I never, like we started off beefing, so it was never a betrayal. Well, nah, I got some head from his sister. So you feel what I'm saying? It's little shit like that that I can't absolve myself and be mad, but I never looked at those dynamics. You know why? Because bitch, this is what you good. If I'm good after betrayal, you should be good after betrayal. If I'm good after heartbreak, you should be good after heartbreak. The fuck? It's not the case. It's not the case at all. So as I go to college and shit, like I said, my homeboy Jonathan was the only one that he never betrayed me. He never did me wrong at all. I can't even count any time that he left me stranded, left me hanging, switched up on me, no shit like that. Now, granted, outside of me bullying him, I never left him out, like out in the cold for no shit like that. Like that was my real little brother, like on some real shit. And so I remember when we was on the school bus and he was just laughing at me. I told him to stop laughing. He wouldn't laugh, so I slapped him. I slapped him hard too. I remember one time we cut my mama's grass and my mama had paid us. She was gonna pay us and shit. He was asking, yo, where the money at? As an entrepreneur now, I'm not even mad at it. But like, nigga, my mama, like my thing was at the time, I was like, yo, my mama look out for us on a regular basis. She look out for you. Like, how many times you came to my mama crib and just ate? You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's what I'm thinking of. But I'm not thinking that, yo, man, we just cut the grass. So can we get our money? Like, My thing is, yo, that's my mama. I don't mind cutting the grass, but you help me. You feel me? Rather than paying it, and it was for $5, yo. Rather than paying him his $5, I punched him in the head. They said, don't be asking me about my motherfucking mama money. I didn't have to do that shit. That was foul. That was foul as fuck. You feel me? But after those two instances and shit, we got closer and I really like pulled him in on a different level. You feel me? But I can't absolve that shit. Like when he thought he had a baby by the girl I used to talk to in high school and shit, motherfucker was like, yo, you not mad at that? Why would I be mad? Like, you feel me? That was some high school shit for me. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, but still, that's, you feel me? That's supposed to be your man's man. Like, you got to think about the shit you do too. You feel me? So, anywho, he was the one that kept it alive that, I can function with my homies. You feel me? I can function with my homies, but the homies that are younger than me, it literally set a tone. So by college, you feel me? I met my homie Tweezy. My homie Tweezy, like, this nigga was so persistent at being my friend that it sickened me. It fucking pissed me the fuck off. Like, it's like, it's one of those things like, you ever met a motherfucker who just want to fuck with you heavy, but just like, yo, nigga, I don't want to fuck with you because I don't know you like that. He made it so I had to know him. That became one of my right hand men in fucking college. Like, it's like, he was the one that, remember when I was like, when I was heartbreaking, I was trying to keep from crying. He like, yo, shorty moved on, didn't she? And I was like, yeah, man. Like, he was the one I was trying to fight the tears from because he had became my friend. He had became my friend. So much so where it's like I'm still harboring to this betrayal shit. Like these, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. Niggas gonna betray you, yo. They'll fuck your bitch. They'll do this. Like, you hear this shit and you see it in action. You feel me? So this particular friend, he wasn't on some, he wasn't like that. He was a genuine friend. He was really trying to fight for me. And I almost betrayed him. I almost betrayed him in my pain. I almost betrayed him in the fact that I was still jaded, keeping motherfuckers out of my circle because his girlfriend, right? We all had a small clique. It was a clique of us. You feel me? By college and shit. And he had went with one of the girls that was, our friend or shit. Like, so we cool. And like we all grow to where we in family. So we drinking and shit one night. And this was like years down the line. Like, but we drinking and shit. And we at my sister's house. We was having like a party at my sister's house. So we drinking and shit, everybody drunk. I'm about to go sleep and shit. And like lay it down. So she comes up to where I'm at and shit. And she's like, all right, we gonna cuddle or whatever. And I'm like, I'm drunk. So I'm like, man, you wildin'. I almost smashed. I remember kissing and everything and shit. And it was almost like, then I stopped. I was like, nah, yo, chill out, chill out. We can't do this shit too easy. Like, nah, stop. No. That next day, I texted him instantly, bro. I was like, yo, bro, I apologize for it going too far, but I almost, you know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, bro. He said, that's fucked up, but I respect you more for telling me. He was like, it didn't go no. I said, nah, you can ask her, bro. She'll tell you the same story. You know what I'm saying? This is, and I don't know, corroborated shit. Like, yo, this is the story we're going to tell him. I was like, nah, I stopped it because in that moment, I felt that shit. I felt everybody on that other side. I was like, Tweezy never did anything to me. Ever. Ever. He never did anything to me. He always throw me a couple bags on the loud when, because it's college. You feel me? You feel me when I want some bud? He was my plug. It's like, yo, bro. It's like, yo, bro. He's like, yo, he said, I'll front you too. You feel me? He would look out for me. I'm not just speaking from the perspective of weed, but I'm speaking on a grander scale. He was my me as a friend. And because I had never had it, I didn't know what to do with it. And because I had never healed, I almost fucked it up. Almost completely fumbled the shit to where it's like, I ain't give a fuck because it's like, yo, niggas been doing me wrong this whole time. Niggas been betraying me. My closest people been betraying me, yo. So fuck these niggas, bro. But he actually had my back. And I knew he had my back. This was before even the almost fuck up situation, almost betrayal. Like the girl at the time that I was with, she ended up getting the phone number in front of me. I told y'all about that story. He was there. He was like, my nigga, how you want to handle it? That was it. It was no, yo, Kurt, calm down. It's, they call me Curtis thing. It was like, yo, calm down, bro. It was like, nah, bro, how you want to handle it? He violated, bro. How you want to handle it? I was like, nah, bro, I ain't about to get us fucked up. He said, yo, we ain't gonna get caught, bro. How you want to handle it, nigga? Like, what it is. You feel me? And at that moment, it broke and we became real friends. We became real friends. But I still had the trust issues. I still had that betrayal guard up.
So I didn't really, and that's how it almost led to that point. And I realized, like, drunk or not, this is why this is a tangent. When motherfuckers say, "Oh, I was drunk," I wasn't thinking. I've been the drunkest of drunk, and I stopped what the fuck I was doing. So nobody can convince me that shit. Oh, I was drunk. I couldn't control. No, I've been pissy drunk, as they call it. I've been drunk out my ass. And midway through kissing this motherfucker, I was like, hold on, shorty. We not about to do him like that. We not about to do him like that. It's just not happening. I said, I'm not doing my mans like that. No, fuck that. So when people say, "Oh, it just happened and we got drunk," and I'm like, nah, you can control your shit. You can control your shit. And if you can't, don't drink. And I'm saying on the strength that I was knocked the fuck out. I mean, completely drunk, hangover in the morning. That's how drunk I had gotten. I was still able to functionally stop myself. It's if you want to or not. So anyway, tying it back, my relationship with him and my relationship with my little brother Doug, they changed my perspective and how well I'm able to connect with men now. Those two men have never betrayed me. Those two men have never did me wrong. Those two men set a standard that, yo, bro, relationships can be strong between men with no betrayal, with no wrong, with no hidden agendas and shit. You feel me? They became my homies. You feel me? They became my little brothers. So much so that, so much so that it erased and made me adjust and address the pain that I had felt when I was betrayed. I was like, yo, them niggas did me dirty, bro. Them niggas did me dirty. You feel me? While still understanding that, yo, I had done dirt. I had done dirt. The hard part about the heartbreak is our acceptance in the shit. Some of the shit that we do. We broke each other's hearts. Now, granted, I can be on some, oh, they broke my heart worse, they broke my heart more, or whatever the case may be. I did some fucked up shit to them too. Because, like I said, when my homeboy, the one that fucked the girl that I was trying to like, I didn't have to go to the extreme that I did with him. But that's when I realized how much pain really affects you and makes you do certain shit. Because I ended up fucking the girl that he loved. I ended up fucking his sister, and I ain't fucking one of his sisters and going like being the boyfriend of one of his sisters. Fucked up that little family structure. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Mind you, we were kids, low key. Well, I was like 15, 14 or 15 at the time. 15, somewhere around there. But it was like, I ain't give a fuck no more. I'm like, if this is what the relationship between men has to be, then fuck it, you know. And we pride ourselves on that shit, yo. At the end of the day, man, we can fight this, we can go through these bitches and all of this shit, but we still gonna be homies and shit. No, we're not gonna be homies. We can't be homies because that sets the tone that allows us to have that bullshit go on in our lives. You feel me? We allow that bullshit to go on in our lives, and we can't let that bullshit go on in our lives no more. You feel me? It fucks up with our relationships going down the line. Like college, I have I have far more male friends. I mean, far more women friends than I have male friends. You feel me? And motherfuckers was like, yo, why you always around some women? Because you the ladies man shit. The ladies man shit was a part of it too, but it was safer with women. You feel me? It was a lot safer with women. Like I had not been in a situation up until that point where a woman had me, where my life was in danger at some point. You feel me? Now, my brother and my dad, they didn't put me in no shit that made my life in danger. But I'm speaking on the depths of betrayal that I felt, that I faced in heartbreak. You feel me? No woman had ever done that until the woman that broke my heart. And it was like, damn, nigga, you too? You too? But women were a lot safer. Women were a lot safer simply because it's like they always want to heal you. They always want to, oh, I just want to be your piece. I just want to love you. I just want to do all that. You want that shit when you've been betrayed a lot. You feel me? So I easily gravitated towards women a lot more than I gravitated towards men. Like, y'all want you to meet somebody and blah blah blah. Like being around like situations like that. Like when I was in college, I was planning on. I wanted to join a fraternity, a Greek letter organization fraternity. Two actually. Well, you can't join two, but I had two in mind. You feel me? It was either gonna be alphas or iotas. Iotas was ultimately what I decided on. They just never came back to the yard to graduate. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So me to cross before I graduated. So I didn't. But everybody, oh, you still went grad chapter. No, I didn't. No, I was done with it. If I couldn't do it then, I didn't want to do it. But I'm glad I didn't because
Half of the shit that I do now I wouldn't be able to do because my name will be affiliated with so much shit that's like, yo, you gotta no, I'm seen, bro. I can't. So, but like when I first went into like the alpha meeting and shit, it was on some y'all niggas will betray me. I'll kill y'all too. You feel me? Because it's like, oh no, this your brotherhood, your ace and your tail and all of the other shit in between, and y'all got to spend this time. We spending a couple weeks together and shit. And we no, ain't no brotherhood with that shit. Not in my opinion. I know what real brotherhood is, and I know how long it takes to develop a brotherhood, and I know what the fuck brotherhood can happen to brotherhood when other shit gets involved. You feel me? I was literally that jaded to where I was like, I don't even want to do this shit because I would kill one of y'all niggas that I really don't even know for real. I would beat the shit out of one of y'all niggas. You feel me? I already started off with some emasculating shit, like, ooh, if you don't know the word, we were like, yo, we got to make sure that it's discreet. And we know some of y'all don't know what discreet means. Nigga, I will fuck you up. I don't give a fuck about your letters. I don't give a fuck about your seniority. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I will fuck you up and not give two fucks about it. And I was in too much pain because I was always thinking like that. When it came to men and them getting close to me, I'm like, you fuck, I'll fuck you up. Like I should not go into conversations feeling like that. You feel me? So now my relationships, I still suffer with it. I still suffer with it. It takes me a decent more amount of time to hit up my homeboys to continue with my conversation with my homeboys. But this is why motherfuckers be like, yo, it's like, now granted, I do be busy too. So, really don't talk to much people like that. But it's like my homies be like, yo, why you can't have, what I'm saying? Why you don't have regular conversations like my social media? Like you only entertain the women or no, because me and my homies, we got a different respect for each other. The homies don't really hit the comments like that because as men, we don't, you feel me? But it's it's for that reason. But this is one of the reasons why it's easier for me to talk to men. Because I know our pains. I don't have to talk just directly to women and be like, oh, you need to get you a man like that. I'm like, yo, bro, this is some shit that fucked us up. You feel me? Heartbreak and betrayal. Heartbreak from a man is so bad because we cannot address it. We are afraid to address it. We be looking like, bruh, I don't know what the fuck to do, cuz blah to the wazoo and fuck that nigga, bruh. You feel me? You don't know, like, if you don't know what betrayal feels like because you've never acknowledged it, you're never gonna grieve. You're never gonna grieve. You know, grieving from my grandmother's death, you feel me? That was the first moment when I actually grieved. It was in 2014. Grieved for anything because I had given myself permission to grieve. Everybody made it okay. Okay, you cry, you mourn, you do these things for your grandmother. It's okay. That's okay. But you don't cry over a bitch that broke your heart. You don't trip over no fucked up ass, lame ass niggas that like, no, these niggas won't none of that. These was my brothers. These was my brothers, bro. These were the first niggas I was calling when beef was popping. These were the first niggas that was calling me when beef was popping. These were the first, but like, these was my brothers. And there's a lot of betrayal between us all. And we still trying to be friends because we heartbroken. And we're in denial of that shit. You feel me? But nobody, I was not allowed to be in denial when my grandmother was killed. Almost, but not fully because I was on the phone with my mom and I broke and started crying and she called my uncle and was like, go sit with him. No, no, you can't have a man. Like you can't have a man that's emotionally unavailable or emotionally not sound. Come sit with a man going through his emotions. All he's gonna do is when I get there is like, I'm gonna stop crying. There's nothing that I can talk about with him. Why would you do that? But that's all she knew to do. You feel me? That's all she knew to do. But the grieving process over my grandmother it was different. It was different. And it opened up my eyes to realize I feel this exact thing that I'm feeling with her when I think about the betrayal that my homies had. It's like, oh, I love these niggas, bro. This was heartbreak. The same feeling that happened with my girlfriend at the time who broke my like that feeling. I felt it when my grandmother passed. I was like, I'm heartbroken again. But this one, I'm gonna be able to get through. Because I wasn't like I was able to cry and get it out and start the morning process. I'm like, yo, the denial. It's like, yo, my grandmother's really gone. It's not a, oh, I'll see her again. This is a dream. I was able to come to terms with it and get through the process and get through the acceptance. Then from there, like I said, it's 2014. If you've been following me for a decent amount of time, by 2015, 2016, that's when my life changed. Because from there, I was able to go through the necessary steps to start the grieving process for everything else. I had never done it. Because especially for my brothers and the men in my life, because I was like, I had never accepted the fact that y'all niggas broke my heart. Because I couldn't. You feel me? But the moment I tied the feelings to each other, I'm like, this is the exact feeling I felt. That means I was heartbroken. So now let me mourn this shit. Now let me grieve this shit. And now let me accept it and move forward. And it's helped me in so many different ways. It's helped me in so many different ways. You feel me? Open up the door to where I can sit at the feet of men and listen to them and not feel like, you feel me, you gonna play me or you gonna do some shit like you gonna hurt my feelings or whatever the case may be. I'm able to process shit a lot more. A lot more. You know, a while back, I was supposed to have a webinar with Dr. Kaba Kamene. It didn't go through, it fell through. Immediately, I was hurt. I was hurt because I felt like I felt abandoned in some way, shape, or form. But it tied back to the feeling that I felt, you know, with my pops and everything like that. But it was more so tied to, all right, this is a dude in another situation. But it was like, nah, I processed it. I was able to process it and be like, you know, my email just never reached him. The email and the link and all of the conversation, it never reached him. Like it really was that simple. I was able to see that it was that simple, but life kept going and we weren't able to actually sit and had this, you know, had a conversation we need to have. It may come again one day, but in the moment, that was one of the first moments I was able to process it. That moment of like, yo, my feelings are hurt. Now let me deal with it. You feel me? Because it's hard to admit, yo, a man hurt your feelings. As a man, it's hard to admit that shit. It's like, yo, you played me. You did me wrong. I'm not saying Dr. Kaba Kamene did that shit. I'm saying how the steps led up until that point to the healing process, into the way in which I was able to maneuver a certain way. You feel me? But as men, that's something that we don't do. So now because we don't do it, this is when we get into those situations where you have all of these gurus, all of these men talking to women, but they're not talking to men. They're talking to the men that they're comfortable with, that are their friends and their circles or whatever the case may be, about women, about certain shit, but nobody's able to address men from all dynamics and stand on it but me. You feel me? I don't give a fuck. I'm tooting my horn on this one. When it comes to this masculine shit, when it comes to bettering the men, is when it comes to building the shit, nobody's doing it like me. Nobody's doing it like me. Nobody's going straight to the core and saying, bro, let's talk to each other. Everybody talks around each other as, okay, women got to do this, women got to, or they would talk to men that they feel are inferior to the men are like, you know what I'm saying? I don't do that. I elevate. If I feel that you are not on my level, I'm going to elevate you to it. Then I can talk to you how I need to talk to you. That's brotherhood, in my opinion. You feel me? I'm not always in a space where I'm shitting and talking down on us and like, yo, see, y'all ain't shit. See, women, y'all got to deal with, like, no, I tell every ray of emotion. I tell everything, every piece of where I stand because I've been through every aspect of what it is to be a man. There's not a leaf unturned that I have not experienced in this motherfucker. That's not a story or some kind of reality and some kind of understanding that I can get out of it. Why would I keep that from my brothers? Because that betrayal of what happened to me when I was a kid or what happened to me years ago when I was heartbroken by a man that I have not addressed yet is what's really doing this to me. It's making me not want to talk to my brothers, making me be volatile to them or like, nah. It's like, y'all, bro, here's the pain that I felt. I know you felt this pain too. I know you didn't address it, whatever the case may be. So now let's deal with it. I'm willing to open up that door. I'm willing to go through that because it's like, at the end of the day, we got to be able to talk to each other. We can't say, you know, yeah, women, men are just going to be like this. I'm the good guy. I'm the motherfucking knight in shining armor and shit. And you, the rest of these guys are just bad. And that's why your relationship suffer because blah, blah, blah. Nah, fuck that. I'm like, look, bro, I'm the knight in shining armor, but nigga, I was the armor. I was the knight covered in soot, bitch. Like I've been burnt, singed, and all of this other shit from the fights and shit. Same fights that you going through. Same fights that you've been through. Ain't no I'm better than you. You know what I'm saying? I'm a because it's like when the shit hit, what happened with Derrick Jackson? Nigga, you cheated? Nigga, you? You feel me? You cheated, bro. After all of this shit about being you did the exact shit to your lady that you warned the rest of these women about. You know why? Because you can't address men. He can't address men. You feel what I'm saying? As men, that's what we got to be able to address in all facets. I can get confrontation with y'all. When it's time for the smoke, I can get y'all the smoke. When it's time for peace, I can get y'all peace. You feel what I'm saying? That's the only reason why y'all still fucking with me. Y'all listen to me. You feel me? I be looking at the comments from some of the guys who follow some of the dudes that, supposed to be the gurus that's really only catered to the women. All they say is the same shit. Oh, this nigga's a simp. This nigga's that and the third. Niggas ain't never came at me sideways like that. They know better. You feel me? Now I'm not threatening shit, but they know better than to come at me like that. Cause they know I'm gonna give us the game that ain't nobody giving us. You feel me? I'm really the only one doing this shit. But all of that derives from the fact that when I saw my betrayal, my heartbreak, the shit that I did to niggas, my homies, I broke their hearts. To know that your best friend fucked your sister, nigga, that's different. And it wasn't on no, like me and one of his sisters were girlfriend and boyfriend for a while. Well, no, not a while, because she cheated on me, but well, it didn't count because I was in seventh grade, she was in the eighth grade or whatever the case may be. And then she was going with an eighth grader, I was a seventh grader, but that's what it was. You feel me? But I made a girlfriend out of her, then I was fucking one of his sisters. And it's like, yo, bro, it's one thing, it's like, yo, but that's your best friend. He said, like, no, but when you know the mindset of your best friend, I'm out here smashing, thrashing, and haberdashing, and now your sister's on the list. I broke his heart. There's no way you can show me anything else. I broke his heart. Then I fucked the love of his life. Well, at the time, you feel me? Would I cross that line now? Fuck no. Would I ever cross that line? Fuck no. Not now. But at the time, it was fair game. It's like, bro, you already showed me that there's no line. You feel me? But I broke his heart too. So I know both sides of the shit. I can't play the victim of the shit and be on no, yeah, you feel me? Niggas just fold my arms. Niggas ain't shit. Ain't got no motherfucking friends because niggas ain't shit. Blah, 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 blah. You feel me? Nah, it's like, yeah, I did my dirt too. I did my dirt too. And that's where the reverberation was. I started putting out actions and shit that reverberated back to me. Some shit wasn't even my reverberation to feel. And because I felt it, I now send that shit out. Well, I don't send it out now, but I came to a space where I was sending it out. A lot of us are in that exact same space. A lot of our pain has nothing to do with women. A lot of people are like, yo, you got mommy issues. You got to fix this. Like, a lot of our pain is the heartbreak that we felt from a man that we can't address because we think is gay. Dead ass. Your father probably broke your heart a long time ago and you just pushed it down because you couldn't, like, he probably forgot to take you to the baseball game he promised you or some shit like that. It's something that broke your heart, whether he was there or not. You feel me? Something that broke your heart that you never addressed, which now made you jaded and made you want to avoid being committed to by certain men. You feel me? All of these words that I'm using sound so taboo when you think about talking about it with a member. It's like, why are our relationships like that? You feel me? Oh, yo, that's my fucking right hand man. Like, we find shit to say, but we don't realize how, you know, like YG, Wayne, and them, they got that song, My Nigga, right? Yeah, Rich Homie Quan and shit. Everybody in the bitch talking about, yo, my nigga, I ride for my motherfucking nigga. On the stage, I die for my motherfucking nigga, right? There's a love there. You don't think you can be heartbroken in that shit? You feel me? Yeah, it may not be an intimate love, and maybe the unconditional love that you have for your homies and shit. But there's a fucking love there, and that love can lead to heartbroken, can lead to you being heartbroken solely off the fact that you're betrayed. When the shit fall out and shit like that, it's like, yo, this nigga, really? We had to get here? And a lot of us as men, we don't address our heartbreaks. We don't address the fate of what it is to be a heartbroken man because we're not looking at it from the perspective of a nigga broke my heart, a man broke my heart. Because just uttering those words makes you feel awkward, makes you want to say pause. You feel me? Niggas broke my heart, man. You feel me? Motherfuckers say it in a joking way. You broke my heart, bro. Like, nah, nigga, really admit that shit. Your shit was devastated, crushed. The shit sunk into the pits of your stomach. You felt every pain. You feel me? You felt every pain. Now you can no longer be in denial to it. You can mourn from it and start your grieving process so you can move to acceptance. So that way you can move forward and be a lot more fruitful in life.
And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing?
All right, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. This episode I felt was very, very necessary. I don't think I've ever tapped into this one and dove into this one because it's like I look at the relationships we have as men. You feel me? I look at the relationships we have as men and why we can't. You know what I mean? It's no different than you know when as black men, you get heartbroken, betrayed, or whatever. And it's like, see, that's why I don't fuck with black women because blah 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 blah. Everything you do is rooted in the betrayal that you felt from that particular black woman. So you think you grouped all of them together. You know what I mean? Or all of the women that you dealt with betrayed you. Cool. It's not cool, but that's what happened. And it's like now, and that's why it's like whenever you hear a motherfucker say he don't fuck with black women, it has nothing to do with why he likes the other women. It's solely in spite of the black women. You feel me? I date white girls because black women act like this. I date Hispanic girls because black women this. Like, no, you just say that that's what you're attracted to. If that's what you're attracted to, but you're not. You have been heartbroken, and now you're trying to get over that without dealing with it. You feel me? I have my share of heartbreaks from women, but I can't hate all black women for three. The fuck? Fuck them hoes. Being dramatic. Being dramatic. But yeah, that's the shit that we got to deal with as men. We don't face it when it comes to men. Because we can't. Nigga, you broke my heart, bro. Admit that shit. You might not be able to tell your mans that shit because you might feel awkward. It's like, yo, nigga, you broke my heart. Back when we was like 12, you remember when you did this shit? You broke my motherfucking heart. We never addressed it. But because of that, this one I don't fuck with you like that. Damn, bro. I didn't even know it was that serious. I didn't even know it was like that. Now I see why you don't fuck with me on that tight time when it comes like that. It's like boom, boom, boom. Well, my bad. I fucked up. Apologize. Boom, boom. Now we can mourn, we can grieve, go through it and shit. But like, yo, so that's why you did X, Y, and Z when it was like, oh damn, now fuck with you that way. Yeah, fuck with me that way, bro. You feel me? We need to have these conversations, these moments with ourselves. And if you can't have it with your homie, at least reconcile it within yourself. Address the heartbreak that you felt. Address the heartbreak from your daddy. Address the heartbreak from your brothers. Address the heartbreak from your cousins. Address the heartbreak from all of these different, points of self. You know, you can't keep being cold and jaded and shit because that fucks with your reality. Feel me? I've always had a hard time connecting with men because of that. I didn't know why. I used to think, oh well, I ain't have my dad, so whatever. But it's like, nah, I never had my dad. But I had moments where me and homies was like real tight. We was friends, like, you know what I'm saying? Then where did it stop? It stopped with the more heartbreaks and betrayals I got from niggas that I never addressed, that I stayed in denial to. Like I said, the fact that I didn't mourn, I was already starting the grief process in denial. Like, I'm good, man. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers will justify, oh, that motherfucker must have had hidden motives from the beginning. That like we do everything to justify it except the fact that, yo, I'm heartbroken. The motherfucker may have hidden motives in the very beginning, or the motherfucker didn't have motives at all, and certain things trigger that. You never know what can happen that lead to why you are betrayed or why you betray a motherfucker. How many times? Now that's this is why I added my part to it. Although it's small, this is why I added my part to the betrayal too. I don't want it to seem like, oh, I've been a victim. Because how many times have you betrayed a motherfucker or you broke a motherfucker's heart? That was your man's and shit, and you didn't even think twice about it because you're like, nigga, man, you good. Like when my homie came to me with the shit, and I fucked the girl that he loved and shit, he was like, I said, man, we share girls, bro. You know how we do. Now, granted, I was really being petty because I was really proving a point. Like, you feel me? But at the same time, it's like that was the standard that had been set. You can't say that I betrayed you when this is the standard of the relationship we have. You can't pick and choose when it's time for you to be betrayed because it was like, well, nah, bro. Like that was just a random bride. I was trying to get to know her. I was talking to her on a different level, and you knew that shit. You feel me? I used to call her from your house. Like you knew that shit. You feel me? But at the same time, I couldn't get too mad because I had done my share of betrayals too. You feel me? But I never looked at my betrayals as, you know what I'm saying? I did somebody wrong or whatever. Like, yo, fuck that nigga, man. He be all right. That was my thing. He'll be all right because I got to be all right. Sometimes we don't even know how deep rooted certain shit is programmed in us. It's like, yo, he going to be all right because I got to be all right. The fuck? You got me fucked up. But alas, that's not always the case. And until we're able to step in and out of ourselves and see both the both the betrayals that we've exhibited and the ones that we've experienced, that's when we'll be able to start the process to say, okay, bam, let me, because then now I just changed my perspective. Like I don't even want to be friends with motherfuckers. It's like, you know what I mean? That can really fuck with me on that type time. I'm not betraying you, you're not betraying me. And we genuinely get close to each other. We genuinely friends. You feel me? That's been one of the hardest challenges of my life. One of the hardest challenges of my life. I always thought it was, being a good man for a woman or whatever the case may be. Nah, it's dealing with a heartbreak from men. And not feeling like something was wrong with me because I felt this way, because this nigga had made me feel this kind of emotional pain. You feel me? Shit crazy. Shit crazy, but it's real. It's a stark reality, and it's a reality that we often don't address the way we should. You know? Just take a moment. Take a moment to go back into your heartbreaks that men have inflicted on you. Sit with the moments and just allow yourself to let that shit and realize how much shit is tied to a betrayal or a heartbreak that a homeboy put on you. You feel me? It's easy to address the women because we see that shit all the time. Ah, bitches ain't shit. We gotta go half. We gotta go this. We gotta go that. You feel me? All these hoes ain't nothing and shit. All they want is one thing. And this hot girl summer shit got these motherfuckers. Ah, you feel me? All of the goofy shit we talk about. Well, how much do we talk about the heartbreaks that associate with the heartbreaks of the men that we fuck with? We don't. We don't. We don't. And because we don't, we're literally only half healing. You can go to all the therapy you want about your mama. You can go about the girls that broke your heart. You can go about all this other shit. But until you address the men too, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be hard to heal. It's gonna be very hard to heal. You just become numb. You stop hurting. Like I said in the episode, hurt, healed, and recovered. You feel me? A lot of us just stop being numb. I mean, we stop hurting, so we become numb. I become numb to the betrayal from men. I never healed. I was just numb to it. So, all right, nigga, you on that type time. I ain't even gonna dust you off because it's like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But again, now I tie that back in, it's something that I mentioned in So Frail. Misogyny is the competition between men before it's the hatred of women. Hatred of women is the byproduct of the competition between men because women are the greatest prize a man can receive in this world. So when we betray our homeboys, we are catering to misogyny from a different perspective. You feel me? We are catering to misogyny under the premise of it being the competition between men. Most of the betrayals and the heartbreaks you're gonna face when it comes to men are out of competition. Think about it in some way, shape, or form. Feel me? A woman was involved, some way, shape, or form, or you were put in a fucked up position, or it put you in a fucked up position in which they won from and you suffered from it. One of the two things. You feel me? But at some point, we got to step back and really look at the world differently and say, you know what? I got to address the pains that I felt from men. So I can stop being jaded and say, I'm just gonna avoid my interaction with men because, oh, these niggas gonna betray me, or because niggas ain't shit, or because, women do it all the time. Women are just like that. They're like, oh, I don't fuck with women because I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna wrap it up. Women be on some shit like, I got all male friends because girls are too messy, women are too messy. Women have been betraying each other for a long period of time and they will not heal from the shit. If my brothers, if you want to understand what that shit compounds to and feels like, look at the relationship between women. That's what unhealing that shit does. These sister circles and shit where they just hype, like, these sister circles aren't showing these women. Nobody is really showing people how to be, how to deal with heartbreak and betrayal from the same sex, because they're so, oh, I wasn't like that's like, no, women hold on to, like, you can see the shit. You don't think you can see that shit visibly on us too? Women would literally say shit like, I don't fuck with women because they too messy, it's too much drama, men are more whatever. Like, we gonna try to fuck y'all. The fuck? Ain't nothing like the fuck. How are we less drama? We're less drama because the women are no longer, we're less drama because the women are still in denial to the betrayal that women actually give them. Women are naturally taught to be competitors, be against each other, shit on each other. Women have been calling each other like bitches and all kind of crazy shit since they were kids. You feel me? The fast ass little girl, she was labeled that when she was like 4, 3 or 4. What kind of shit is that? You feel me? So now, when you in school, middle school and shit, like I remember being in middle school and girls, you know what I'm saying? Oh, why you fucking with her? She a hoe. Niggas do the same shit. Niggas do the same shit because of the betrayal and the heartbreak that comes from that. It makes you not want to fuck with the same sex in that way. You feel me? You can't relate to your brothers on some shit like that solely because of the betrayal that motherfuckers in your circle had, because of the way the competition is set up between men naturally. And when you're competing with a motherfucker that you're losing against, you're gonna cheat to win. And when you cheat to win, you end up betraying that motherfucker, which leads to the motherfucking heartbreak. But I'm gonna go there and end it there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And for our sons, going forward, we need to set the tone that they can vent and they can release and they can start the healing process when they are betrayed and heartbroken by men. The first example, the first person guaranteed to heartbreak, to break a boy's heart is his father. Yeah, the mother too, but we're talking about in context of what this conversation is about. The father, then the sibling. The father is the first person. You feel what I'm saying? You set the standard for how your son is going to maneuver through this world. If you broke his heart for unfulfilled promises, lies, but like all of that shit, your son feels that. And his experience when he feels that is predicating how he experiences his siblings. You feel me? People be thinking it's like an accident why kids start to feel like one child is favorite over the other, or whatever case may be. One child's like more. It's because the things in which that child was heartbroken for, the other child received. Nobody addresses that shit. And vice versa. So when that problem is, oh, it's favoritism, it ain't favoritism. You're just not seeing the fact that it's not favoritism, it's the fact that what was used to break your heart, I was given, and vice versa. And so now our argument is that, oh, now you treated such and such better. And it's like, nigga, wait, you don't remember when motherfucker did this to me? You feel me? Because it didn't apply to something that can break the other person's heart. You feel me? It's only when a motherfucker receives what we were heartbroken for that we pay attention to it. You feel me? Our sons, we need that first example set. You feel me? I'm not saying you can to walk on eggshells or be afraid because your son is going, you could betray him or whatever the case may be. It's like, no, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen because you don't know what you can do to betray a motherfucker. You don't know what somebody's straw is. You feel me? And you don't know that you're gonna be the straw in that bag when it breaks. But what you can do is be the person that's like, okay, look, let's talk about this. Let's learn. I got to show you how to process this by teaching you. Okay, what's your issue? What's going on? Well, you told me you was going to do X, Y, and Z. Damn, I did. I didn't think it was going to be that serious if I left you hanging, but it was that serious because I left you hanging. Now let's get through it. Let's get through it. So now you can start to healthily process when you are betrayed in this world. When you are heartbroken by men, you're able to deal with that. Man, fuck that nigga, bro. It is what it is, and always come into violence with the shit. You feel me? I'm not saying don't come to violence. Please hear me well. If violence is necessary, violence is motherfucking necessary. But at the same time, don't let it get to a point where when violence is necessary, it can go to a whole nother level. You feel what I'm saying? This was one of the reasons why growing up as a kid, like I never had a gun as a teenager. All the niggas around me had guns. The big homies like, yo, nigga, it's rites of passage. You 17 now. You need a gun. What? I'm gonna get you like, what? Why do I need a gun? I never accepted it because I knew I would shoot a motherfucker. I knew how much pain I had and how much issues I was dealing with on the inside, and I would have killed me a motherfucker or two. It ain't no ifs, ands, and maybes about it. I would have shot the shit out of somebody because I already knew how I felt. You feel me? I knew this is how I responded to men because of the betrayal and the heartbreak. You feel me? But this is also why, in the age that I am now, I have more compassion with my brothers. I'm willing to talk to my brothers more. I'm willing to joke and play and laugh and actually have that kind of connection with them now because I was able to absolve myself and heal from it. Our boys need to be able to do that too. They need to have this capacity to be able to do that early on. So when the real shit happens, they're able to sit and be like, nah, bro, you feel me? We gotta adjust this shit. Or we just can't fuck with each other no more, but we're gonna have to figure this out so we can move forward. So I can heal. Because otherwise you're gonna carry that shit on to future generations and future experiences, and it's gonna fuck with you in the long run. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's gonna keep you from sitting at the feet of people you gotta learn from. Cause they men. You feel me? Most of the motherfuckers that when it comes to masculine, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna wrap up. Most of the motherfuckers that come to me about masculine, first thing I want to talk about, oh, I gotta debate you. I want to hold a mirror up to your shit. Why? So I can bust your shit. You can do that, but I understand where you coming from with the shit. It's competition. You want to feel like you're gonna reign supreme of it. I'm going to make you look like a fucking asshole when it's all said and done. I think at the time of this recording, we had like 188 episodes in. Half of those are so frail conversations. So that's 94 so frail conversations. Nigga, I got 94 episodes on masculinity. 3 books on the shit. And you want to talk about your feelings about this shit? I will fuck you up in this motherfucker. You feel me? I will fuck you up in here. Now you're gonna look stupid, and then it's gonna cater to the competition. You're not gonna learn shit. Your thing is you trying to stand over me because you see how high I fucking stand. When a motherfucker can see that and they in your immediate circle, there's no depths to how hard it will hurt you when they betray you or when they break your heart. When they see how high you stand and they bring you down, rather than pulling themselves up to that point. You dig what I'm saying? So what we got to do is make sure we set the tone and the standard right for our boys. So when they experience life and they experience these heartbreaks and experience these betrayals from men and they're able to feel them, they're able to heal them and process them and get through the 5 stages of grief. It's motherfuckers right now that's 40 years old still hold on to some shit from 8th grade. And a lot of women be saying, oh, you holding on to that heartbreak from 8th grade. No, not from a woman, from a man, from a boy, from that teacher, from that coach, from all of these people that played me. You feel me? I remember I was in band and we had to get like school sweaters for the band and I couldn't afford it. I knew, and I wasn't even gonna tell my mom, like, I need this thing for band. Don't even worry about it. So the band teacher, a black man or whatever, he said, I'm gonna talk to my wife and see if there's something that I can do. So that's what I'm thinking he's gonna do. So by the time the money is due, he asked me, said, so why didn't you turn in the money? I said, you told me you was gonna talk to your wife and see what she can do. Like, so I left it alone. Like, I already told you I wasn't gonna be able to get it. There's nothing else for me to think of. So now you didn't get it. Like, why'd you tell me that? You didn't have to look out for me. I didn't ask you to. But then you open the door that you're gonna look out for me. You don't. He eventually did, but he's like, I did say that. And he got me the sweater, whatever the case may be. But the fact that you asked me, and I was like, well, I didn't. He's like, where's the money? I was like, you told me you was gonna talk to your wife. I already told you I wasn't getting it. I already told you it's out of the budget. I'm not getting it. You feel me? My mama got 3 kids. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm paying for the saxophone already. Like, fuck, you better hope I don't draw on a shirt and wear the motherfucker in here. You feel me? So it's like in that moment, it's like, yo, bro, you told me something. I held you to your word. You feel me? We experience shit like that all the time as men, and we need to address it. But I don't want to. I don't want to continue on with this one. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables, and I'm gonna see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.